But really today, really what we're talking about here is just IRA contributions. So let's just do kind of an overall idea. Most of you would already know that, anybody can have a 401k, 403b with their company where they work, but anyone can also have an IRA, which is an individual retirement account, meaning that, yes, let's say I worked at Apple and I go ahead and I put money away at my 401k and there's vesting. So the company also adds a portion to it. And that's the benefit of it, of course. But you can do IRA contributions. Okay. And what happens there is if you do an IRA contribution to your own account, okay, you can go ahead and get that money deducted off of your income. So that's the immediate benefit for your client base. Now, the usual people where they would go, no, go back there, Barry, please. Is that it's Vanguard, it's Fidelity, it's Schwab. We know all these. Okay, those are the usual suspects. So today, if I wanted to start an IRA, I could get online right now, type in fidelity.com, put in my information, bing, bang, boom. Within 10 minutes, I have an IRA open at that company. I can write a check to Fidelity, put that in the bank. I could wire the funds, and now I've done my IRA contributions. And as you can see here in 2023, the limitations per year is $7,000 or $7,500 as a catch-up provision if you're over the age of 50. 50 is the key mark here. Now, most of us are going to have clients probably 50 or older, so I want to focus on that. Now, here's the big issue. This is what Barry was talking about, that you have about a month. Your client base has to get the IRA open and funded before tax day 2024 for that contribution to count against their taxes from 2023. Okay. Now in 2024, as you can see, it's just a minor increase. It's $7,500 for people under 50, 50 and older. It's $8,000. So what I'm getting at here is you could call your entire client base right now and ask them this basic, simple question. Have you made your IRA contributions for 2023? Almost all of them are going to say, huh, what? Like they don't probably even understand what you're talking about. You're going to find out the majority of them have not done an IRA contribution for 2023, which means they didn't do one for 2024. That right there for your clients that are over 50 is $15,500 worth of contributions they could make right now. That will get their tax deductions for 2023 and 2024. If you then put it in, go ahead and go to the next slide there, Barry, to a self-directed IRA, which is what we help handle, they can now invest in life settlements. Now imagine husband and wife doing that. If you run into a husband and wife that haven't done their IRA contributions for 2023 and 2024, you are looking at about $31,000 in investment right there. Okay, so here's the deal. If you're not familiar, we deal with a self-directed IRA company. It's called IRA Club. They're out of Chicago. We've been using them for many, many, many years. I have worked with just about almost any self-directed IRA company you can think of over the last 2 decades. IRA Club is the company of choice because they keep the fee structure with us low because we deal with so many clients. And they have really good customer service. If you're familiar, many self-directed IRA companies, just that they're awful in communication. You guys send an email, you might get an email back in a couple of days. They didn't really answer your question. IRA Club, we have a dedicated person there who we can talk to on the phone on a daily basis. So you as an agent, if you have questions, you can give them to us and we will go follow up. The investment obviously would be with Equilife, which is Barry's company. And you should be familiar with who they are by now and what life settlements aren't. If you need a refresher on that, please set up a time for yourself to talk to me or Barry, and we'll get that going. And here's what's great. The first year's fees and the setup fee, which is about $250 total, will be paid for by Equilife for your client. So they're able to now come in for a very low amount, maybe $8,000. They have no setup fee. They don't pay their annual fee for the first year. And all of that is provided and paid by Equilife. And now they can come into this asset at a very, very low price, get their foot in the pool, and then at the same time get the tax break for doing the IRA, and they diversify their money away from stock market risk. So as you probably know, many of you might be confused, and this is the new announcement. Equilife on the brochure and everything else has always said, hey, minimum investment to start an account is $25,000. If you've ever talked to Barry or myself, we tell you that's kind of with an asterisk, as always has been. That is because, look, if you're sitting in front of a husband and wife that's got 500,000 or $1 million in retirement funds, and they want to do a transfer, then the minimum should be $25,000. And we're going to explain why that would be, is because the annual costs can eat up a lot of their gains. And Equilife is willing to pay for several years of the fees, depending on how much somebody invests. Now, here's the thing. If you're sitting in front of somebody and they say, hey, I want to transfer money to self-directed IRAs, let's say they're moving it from a Fidelity. Yeah, we're not going to waive that exemption down to $7,000, guys. That's just a waste of everybody's time, as in for you and even the client, because what's going to happen is fees are going to kick in at some point and it's going to eat up their gains. You're going to see why with IRA contributions, it's a different thing. So we're not talking transfers from their current retirement account. If they have a full retirement account, you should be able to discuss this and get somebody to come in for $25,000. On transfers, where it can be different is maybe you have a client that has what we call an orphan account, meaning it's just an account sitting over here with 21,000 or 19,000. Sure, Equilife's going to take that. We understand and that money's there. But when it comes to this, we're allowing people to do contributions, and you're going to see why that is different. And so, yes, what we're saying now is if you have a client who would like to look into this by just doing IRA contributions, that's now available. So what I say to my agents that I work with, and I'd love to help any of you get your business really going. And I'm more than happy to coach anybody on these calls if they would like to set up a half hour or hour every week. I can help anybody on this call probably write at least $1 million a year, which would easily bring you into a six-figure commission-based situation. It's really not that hard. And so I say set simple goals. It's like going to the gym. I just talked to a gentleman yesterday who has a large book of business, and I just said, hey, let me ask you a question. How hard do you think it would be to write one IRA contribution a week? That means, let's say, $8,000 contribution a week. That's 4 a month. You got 30 days to find 4 people in your book of business to decide to write a contribution for $8,000. And he said, I don't think it's very hard. I said, I don't think it's very hard either. I think it's literally, if you put maybe an hour's worth of work a week into getting out your prospects, because the issue is very simple. The question is, have you done your IRA contribution? If they haven't, you now are able to have a conversation on that, and that you let them know you have a great idea for them. It checks all the boxes. You have a place where you can go ahead and get that contribution in. They can get the tax deduction off of their income, and at the same time help them put a plan together that diversifies away from stock market risk with decent gains. And now that's it. These people are probably going to say, great. So if you did one IRA contribution a week, that's 4 to 5 a month, and that adds up. What we're talking about is that would be about doing 50 IRA contributions every single year. Based at $8,000 or $7,000, that's going to bring in about $350,000 to $400,000 in funding a year. Remember, I just told you that I can help almost anyone on this call write $1 million in a year. We are right now, just based on that theory, 35 to 40% there, just off of nickel and dime IRA contributions. Depending on where your commission level is at that time, you could be anywhere between 35, 50, even more in commissions in your first year, just off of doing one IRA contribution a week. Here's where this plan really works. Okay, is in 2025, which isn't that far away from us right now, we're literally about 8 to 9 months from now. If you wrote 50 cases this year, let's say you did, it's probably going to be less if you did the one a week. But here's the issue. In 2025, think about this. Equilife has the information and IRA Club has the information on all your clients that you did business with in 2024. Literally, all you have to do in January is pick up the phone, call every single one of those people and remind them, hey, it's time to make your IRA contribution. another 8,000, which I imagine the limits are actually going to go up to about 8,500. Okay. All you're doing at that point is just telling the clients, this is what you need to do. They say, great. They get a DocuSign package. They send in their $8,000, or you can go ahead and pick up those checks and send them over to IRA Club. It's literally minimal effort on your part. Meanwhile, you're also still prospecting for that one a week on new cases. By year two, you're not writing 400,000, you're writing 800,000. And look at this, just off of basic IRA contributions, you would be making over $100,000, and it adds up. This is what it would look like in just 3 years' time. In your first year, by writing one IRA contribution a week, you would be bringing in 400K year one, 800K in funding year two, and you'd be at $1.2 million, where almost a majority of your money is just reinvestment, where Equilife has everything for you. It can market for you. All you're doing is prospecting and finding one case a week, 4 cases a month. To give you an idea, leave this up here, Barry, this is how easy it is. If you go meet John and Jane Smith and husband and wife, which is very common, and you find out that neither of them have done an IRA contribution, you should be able to write a case for both of them. You just finished 50% of your goal for the month. It's that simple, right? It's that simple. Getting one case a week is absolutely possible for anybody on this call. It's just a matter of prospecting and having the right marketing put together. That's just putting out texts and emails to your client base telling them that they need to do their IRA contribution. You can help set it up with minimal effort, and you have a plan for them. But as you can see, you could be making between $100,000 and $150,000 easy every single year just off of IRA contributions. And the setup is very simple. Equilife sets up your IRA. Barry will tell you, it's just like doing the intake form to get the IRA set up with IRA Club, and I'll let him explain that after this. And the process is, it's pretty much, they just need their information on who they are, who they want their beneficiaries to be, their information on address, email, all that stuff, copy of a driver's license. Within 24 hours, he should be able to get an actual account number. They have to DocuSign it. Okay, it's just a DocuSign stating that they want to open up the actual account. Once the account is opened, then all your client is going to do, if they're old school, they can literally write a check, and in the memo area, they're going to put their account number. Or if they want to wire funds, we have a way for them to wire funds to the account. But we want to make sure their account's open so that in the memo area, they can say this is the account number. Once everything is funded, leave this up here for a second, Barry. Once everything is funded, right? So I'll walk you through. They send in the funds. Once the funds hit IRA Club, the client now has to sign off on the investment package. It's a DocuSign. Once that's done, once all that's done, they have opened the account, they have put their money in, and they have signed off that they want to buy the life settlements. Within days after that, you, the agent, will get paid by ACH, right? Matter of days. And then their document package comes to you within the next couple of days. And it's just like dealing with an annuity company in the sense of that you get a packet and you can either deliver it to the client, or you can go ahead and mail it to them at your choosing. Okay, we'll go to the next slide there, Barry. So this is who we are again. I want to hand this over to Barry in a second after I just kind of tell you exactly what we just discussed there, and what we're going to discuss next Wednesday is you can see I deal with all your marketing. Barry helps you with all the closing, and that's where does he come into this? He's the one who's going to be able to get you the investment documents that were discussed. But most importantly in this framework is he's the one who's going to be able to open your accounts over at IRA Club for your client base. And so he's going to say, hey, I need, these things to make this happen. You just need to get him the actual information. And then within 24 to 48 hours, he should be able to come back and say, this is your client's account number. And then they're able to go ahead and fund based on that. Next week, what I want to discuss, and will be same time, same place, is one of the areas that I know that I have some people making really good commission and helping clients out. A huge solution is this. I'd like to ask you to ask yourself, how many people have you ran into in the last 6 months, 12 months that had you do some type of annuity review only to find out that the client had a new annuity that maybe another agent sold them that they absolutely hate and they want out. And the problem for you is you can't do anything because it has a large surrender and they're kind of stuck. Well, I'm going to show you a way that you can use life settlements actually to help that client get out of their current situation. I just spoke to somebody yesterday with a client like this, where they said, well, but it's a high surrender. I can't do anything. And I'm like, actually, you can. You can use life settlements as a way to get your client base or possible prospects out of bad annuities. And so what I'm going to show you is a way to market to prospects and your current client base about annuity reviews. It's very simple. You're offering your services as a solution on annuities, and either A, you're going to inform them that the annuity works great, which is fine. You've added value and a service to them. Or if they're not happy, you now have a solution to show them, and I'm going to show you how to do that next week. So Barry, I'm going to hand this over to you. We'll get the email and text out in the next couple of days on that. But Barry, tell people real quick about what you need and how it works to set up the IRA.
Yeah, guys. And, again, I can see who's on this Zoom. So I know some of you have completed lots of deals with us. Some of you have yet to submit that first intake form. But compared to just a regular IRA deal, when you want to use this plan, this is the only additional form you see right here that needs to come in to that DocuSign package. Okay, so the process is still the same. You just submit the intake form. Note that it's an IRA contribution. We'll include this form right at the front. And your client, again, just like Ben mentioned, will send in the check, complete that single DocuSign package, and we're off to the races, right? So don't be intimidated about the paperwork side of it. We're definitely here to help with that. And trust me, it goes very smoothly, especially with this kind of a deal. It's actually, if anything, easier than, a transfer type situation. Not that those are beyond our powers or anything, but
Right, and that's a great point, everybody. The reason that this even makes this better is, I mean, of course, we do a good job in getting transfers over, but like I know as being an agent, and Barry knows this as well, is the hardest thing that you ever deal with is once you get a client and they want to do business, whether you're in annuities or you're doing life settlements or whatever is, then finding out who the custodian is, and then you realize whether this is going to be an easy transfer, a nightmare. And we all know, hey, if it's Schwab, if it's Fidelity, usually pretty easy, right? They don't really fight you on things. But if you want to move money from, say, an annuity company to annuities, or, I'll throw somebody out there, Wells Fargo Advisors, these are companies that are going to fight you tooth and nail to never give that money up. I've seen cases on my own that went on for months. What's great about this IRA contribution situation is there isn't an issue. Right? It's just the client putting in the funds. We don't have to fight with anybody about getting money out of another company. It's literally the client is making a contribution, not a transfer. So they just write a check or they just go ahead and wire the money in. It's one of the two. Most people still have checks around, and because this is a small amount, it kind of makes it easy. I know it's old school, but the issue is, here, this is what we have here. But rather than having them walk down to the bank and making a wire transfer, for $8,000, you could literally just have them mail you the check, and you can go down to FedEx once a week and mail them all out. That's up to you. That's how I would do it. But if somebody wants to wire, that's fine. It's kind of a pain in the butt to go down and deal with a wiring situation and having them deal with that, when if they do have a checkbook, and most people do who are over 50, is they literally write on the check IRA Club FBO, put their name on there and put the account number in the corner, and away you go. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, it shows this right here. I mean, it's very simple, and Barry can send this to any of you. So
Sure.
if any of you would like to get on this program of it's kind of like, hey, once a week, let's get a deal once a week. I would love to help any of you get that started. Meanwhile, see if you can join us next Wednesday at 11, and we will discuss how to use annuity reviews to bring in life settlement clients, as opposed to IRA contributions. These are very small little cases that will add up. Your annuity review cases will be huge. These are cases that are going to wind up being $200,000-$300,000, and we've seen them, right, Barry?
Yeah.
Very, very large commissions, and you're helping people get out of a possible situation that they absolutely feel they're not happy with. So we'll show you how it's not just one solution, there's multiple solutions.
Yeah,
so we'll
that's going to be a good one.
Yeah. Okay, great. Thank you, everybody. Feel free to hit up Barry or me. There'll be a email going out on this, thanking you, reminding you about next week, and you can always just click on the calendar if you want to talk to either of us. Okay.
Yeah. Give us either of us a call afterwards. Thank you all for coming. Glad to see a
Thank
good
you.
turnout. See you next Wednesday.
Okay. Thank you.
Bye.